Dressing, just a second. Let me set. Got it. Yeah. So the dressing is the first thing. Don't take a lot of stress regarding the dressing. It just needs to be formal. Color is not important. Nothing is important. Just it has to be formal. And yes, you can wear the tie if you have to wear the coat. But this is a small thing. Big thing. Big thing is that we need to start conversing in English language, using it both in verbal as well as written format, because whether it be a WAT, which is a written form of communication, or group discussion, or interview, all these require you to communicate either through written means or through verbal means. And I don't want that it should happen to you that you have the point, but you are not able to communicate it very well. You have to think, you have to pause a lot. So please start using this language so that in the next 2 months you're completely free in terms of expressing yourself. And some institutes which are top-notch institutes, they might start from end Feb, so you have hardly 2 months of preparation. Of course, if it's a 2 months preparation, then you want to be prepared in 1 month. This is how it should be, right? No last minute hiccups, hang-ups should be there. Okay, so first let me ask you, how was your exam? Okay, in virtual mode also the dressing will be the same. If Soumya Tiwari is asking in virtual mode what needs to be the dressing needs to be the same. So some institutes might go for online, some might go for offline. If there is a third wave due to the Omicron virus, then maybe it will be online, but we don't know, it can be offline as well. So you need to be prepared for both online and offline, and hence our preparation also, where we will be helping you with the entire process, will be a combination of online and offline lectures and interviews and boot camps. So yes. Waiting for result and cause. Exam went well. Yes, good. Decent exam. As if it's a decent knock. So Harsh Vishwakarma is saying it was a decent exam. That means he had a decent knock. How are, like, what is it, a mixed bag? Of course it will be like mixed bag. What about your emotions? How do you feel after the CAT examination? Some of you will be happy, some of you will be very happy, some of you will be okay, some of you will be sad. It's a part and parcel of life. And what has happened, like, you have to accept the decision. And maybe those students who were not able to perform very, very well in the CAT examination, they can take out the frustration on other examinations like SNAP, ZAT, NMAT. So, like, there's no point in repenting. Plus, you need to prepare for GWPI as well, whether you have got good marks or like marks not like what you were expecting, because it's a very short window of preparation, so you have to be prepared. Yes, Samarth is saying no regrets, but have a turn to reflect on. Yes, you do. It is a big examination because, like, you want to like take it seriously. It's once in a year. It's not like GRE, GMAT that it keeps on happening. No, Naman, you haven't missed anything meaningful, even though everything is meaningful, but at the same time, nothing is meaningful. That's how life is. So, okay, GWPI, what is a group discussion? What is an interview? What is a WAT? Okay, so I'm going to be using only English as the mode of communication because it's a GWPI class, and throughout the process, I will be motivating you as well to use the Queen's language. What to do? We don't have any choice. So please bear with me, and you have to ensure that we also have to bear with you, because every time you'll be communicating with me henceforth via telephone or in person or written or verbal communication, it has to be English language. And of course, you will be making some mistakes, some grammatical mistakes. So it's not that you have to be grammatically perfect, but even if you're 80-90% there, the job is done. So when you are conversing with the professors as well, you don't have to use bombastic words. You don't have to use fancy jargons. Your communication has to be simple, lucid. Lucid means it has to be crystal clear. The message, whatever you want to communicate, and one should try to be grammatically correct. So when you'll be discussing your answers, anyways, I'll come to get an idea, and other people will be helping you. Also, will get to will get to know how good your grammar is, so they'll be able to help you with it. So it's a preparation. It's an ongoing journey. It's not like you can pick up a book and that's it. In a day or two, the preparation is complete. So on the grammar front, the verbal as well as written front, we have to keep working. So when I will talk about like answers, PI answers also, PI questions also. So you have to type it using Grammarly so that you can understand to an extent where are you going wrong, where are you going right. So that if some of you will be taking of course, I expect of you to be taking WATs. So you need to like keep checking where you're going right or wrong. So there are no extra marks for grammar in a WAT, but like if there are a lot of grammatical errors, spelling errors, you will lose marks. So it's like a hygiene factor when once you start reading human resource management. There's something known as a hygiene factor. That means if it is there, okay, you don't get anything extra, but if it is not there, you'll be penalized. So you have to use Grammarly. That is one thing. What more? Just I'm going to be throwing some small facts, some big facts, some small facts, some big facts. And in our very first session, you keep making points that okay, which is important, which is okay, like how the uniform, we discussed about the uniform, it is again a hygiene factor. It's not that if you are dressed up properly, you'll get some marks, but if you're not dressed up properly, then you won't, of course, there'll be some penalty. Marks will be taken away, minus. So we discussed about the uniform, easy, breathable, places where there is no winter, if you're wearing a coat and if you're sweating, you look like a fool and you feel like a fool. So be comfortable. Now, what is a GD? What is an interview? What is a WAT? And these are not my answers. These are the answers of one of the CAT conveners. CAT is organized by one out of the 6 IIMs every year, and the person who heads the CAT committee for that year is the CAT convener. So these are the replies of the CAT convener. What is an interview? Behave as if it's a class. I'm giving you some time to think. What do you think is an interview? What? Tell me, if anyone can, what do you think? And I don't want, I'm not asking for a definition, like it has to be like, that Three Idiots movie where he's trying to explain what either books or machines are. What is an interview? You'll be very surprised to know that getting to know each other, Uddhav Dubey, a two-way communication. Uddhav, maybe you are looking for a friend or a girlfriend here and not an interview. You're making it sound too casual. So, okay, pun intended. But let's look at Uddhav Dubey's reply, getting to know each other. Do you think this interview of an IIM, Excel, FMS, SPZ is going to be a getting to know each other? I don't think so. It's a two-way communication. No, it is generally not a two-way communication. You are the guy who has gone for the interview, so you have to show that you are the person to be selected. So they will be talking less, they'll ask a one-line question, but then you have to do a lot of talking. So in this two-way communication, it's mostly one way, which is you. And that's the reason. So I know of a student, of course, I'm not going to take the name. That student got 99.99 percentile in CAT and was a girl and was very shy. And no matter how much I poked her, prompted her, encouraged her, she didn't speak up during the GWPI process. In the interviews also, she used to just grin or smile, So this problem was there. She said, like, she's introverted. This is the problem. This is the problem. Like, how some of us, like, or every one of us have like that one or two big problems. So this was her problem. So you'll not believe, despite a 99.99 percentile and a girl student, she was not able to convert Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta. She went to IIM Lucknow. But thankfully, she got the role of an investment banker in Nomura Group, which is a very large investment bank. So whatever she wanted, end goal is satisfied. She has achieved what she wanted to. But I'm just telling you, like so I hope both of you understand, it's a one-way communication. You are the communicator. You have to communicate a lot. I will be discussing what all things, but and certainly not getting to know each other. You won't be able to know them. They might try to know you. You won't be able to know them. Judging, analyzing the candidates. Okay, yeah, that is true. Presenting yourself in easy manner. Sugandh Gupta, easy breezy. It's a night movie at TTR. No, I don't think so. Presenting yourself in an easy manner. No, presenting yourself in a formal manner, like a formal salesman. There's a difference. So Knowing a person through verbal communication. Okay, they can, in the interview, they can even ask you to write something, like solve a case on the spot. So, not entirely true. An interaction which intended to gauge a candidate, I would like to add the word formal to it. Formal interaction. Personality check and knowledge check. Personality check and knowledge check. Naman Bhatia. This guy is like, he believes in his abbreviations and acronyms. Personality check and knowledge, personality check and knowledge check. To an extent, yeah, you are right. Okay, so of answers. Inside view of candidate's ability and potential in regard with the field. Yeah, that is also checked, Varun Copley. Understanding the philosophy or thinking of the candidate. Okay, that is also to an extent, it's very difficult. Like interview is 10 minute, 15 minute. Someone, if maybe the professor is in love with you, then maybe half an hour. But the fact is that it's not a very endless process. So in that less amount of time to understand the philosophy of the student, it's maybe the student himself or herself has not understood the philosophy, So philosophy is a very heavy word here. Knowing our capabilities to an extent, will, mentality, yes. So a lot of answers I am seeing. Very good. So fine, I have already defined it, but I will tell you what is the actual definition as per the CAT convener. Interview is an attitudinal test. That's a shocker. Interview is an attitudinal test. That means the attitude of the person is going to be a certain or marked. So I was also, able to communicate representing time with the CAT convener. So I posed questions like, if that is the case, how do we do the marking? Because attitude is again a very subjective word. So how do you gauge? How do you award the marks? And the marks, of course, so interview is so important that for any good institute, including the top IIMs, if you see, the weightage for interview in the final stage of selection is 50%. And I'm not including W80. Some like in IIM-Ahmedabad is 50% is interview, 10% is W80. That means 60% is just W80 and PI. So even if you got 100 percentile, or you think that you are Lord of the living room like Lord Grantham, it's not possible that without being very good in the interview. Okay, in W80, even if you miss by a whisker, it's okay because it's a 10-mark thing. But 50 marks for interviews is a very, very big thing. So interview is an attitudinal test. So I pose questions like that you ask an academic question. So suppose you're a mechanical engineer and they ask you some question of mechanical engineering. So I asked him how come this is reflecting upon the attitude of a person. So the interviewer said that if a person has done BTech for 4 years, and if he planned in his, high school days, senior school days that I want to be an engineer, and if he studies engineering for 4 years, and if he doesn't know some things which are very basic of say his core subject, say mechanical engineering, it reflects very poorly on his attitude because he doesn't take an interest in himself, in things which he has picked himself. He is not a committed person. He is not sincere. He is not disciplined enough to pursue knowledge. So here also see for them you have to understand for professors, it's an institute where they are providing an academic program of 2 years, which is having a lot of subjects and will be teaching those subjects. Placement is a one-off activity. So like I went for my placement for summer internship, it was a 10-15 minute phone call because the company was based out of Hong Kong, so they didn't want to come, so they did a tele interview. Or whether it be like this activity consumes very little amount of time in those 2 years, because of which you will understand the moment you enter into any good institute that it's all about the lectures and classes and the topics. So the course curriculum takes precedence. So one of the things, so today I'll be telling you many things important, okay things, some very important things. So one of the very important things is everyone who's preparing for GWPI, they need to go to the website of any good institute and they need to check the course structure, the course curriculum. If they are lucky, they will be able to, like suppose a BBA student will be there and or a BCom student will be there. They'll say that, sir, we have studied subjects like macroeconomics and statistics and taxation, business law, and accounting, and many other subjects like organizational behavior. There's nothing which is more like business studies, that we did in school. So they will be able to relate to a lot of course, which is a very big thing, academic connect part. Even engineering students will be finding some subjects, especially from the area of like you have topics like quantitative methods, some certain subjects which are there in operations. So in first year, everyone has to study everything. You have to study finance, marketing, operations, systems, which is IT, and HR, and strategic management. These are the 6 areas. So in the very first year, you have to do everything. So there are every semester you have subjects related to maths. So one of the connection for an engineer can also be that mathematics is heavily used, of course, in any business decision making. Don't you think number crunching or maths or numbers will be used? So again, they can maybe relate with maths, or I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was giving example of mechanical engineering students right now. So I think some of them have operations, management or operations something as one of the subject also. There are some subjects which they can correlate to. Don't worry if you're not able to correlate at all, because finally, if you can't correlate to a subject, you can correlate to some industry, some industry. So whether it be electrical or electronic student, or someone doing biotech, you can always relate. You can relate to pharmacy and say vaccine manufacturing companies, and this you can always relate your study to industry. At the end of the day, the entire course of management is to help you in being productive in some industry. So in any position. So it is very, very important that you understand the course curriculum. If you're able to make an academic connect, nothing like that, even if you're not, there will be some subject, and this is not just one of the, this is just one of the points. It's not the only point that you're going to say that I want to MBA with the academic course. Just saying that some points which are important, keep noting it down. So now another thing which is very, very important is, you should know, like a lot of students wrote answers like skills, to know the skills of the cat. You have to know your skills. Some of these skills can be quantified, or it can be objectified, and some of these skills, like someone is having a very strong personality trait, these skills are subjective traits, subjective skills, but you need to mention them as well. So you need to basically first understand what type of skills are they looking for. IIMs were established in the 1960s not to make managers and CEOs, but to basically create entrepreneurs, because they wanted the economy to be boosted through this activity. So you can type business skills, business management skills, leadership skills, CEO skills, those kind of skills which are required, with regard to what you want to do. So even if you want to get into finance, so skills, finance, you want to get into finance. So what are the skills that a financial manager or a CFO, chief financial officer requires? So depending on what are you looking at 10 years down the line, you look at the skills which are there. See which of those skills are present in you. But then you have to understand, in an interview, everything you say has to be qualified. How do you qualify a statement? Of course, by giving some example of some achievement or position or win or reward, or even an incident and something big, something like quantifiable. So you just can't say something and expect them to believe you. So because a lot of students will go there and lie there, students generally lie a lot. They cheat in the exams as well. So they know this fact as well. So they want to check everything that you're going to be saying that there. So it's very, very important that whatever you say, it has to be qualified with something. There's a rider attached to it. Someone say that I am considered to be a very helpful person. Who believes that? But if you say that some things that you have done and they have gone extraordinarily well, and that proves, that you are interested in helping people or the society or something like that. So, okay, fine. So skill set connect is very important. Academic connect is very, very important. Then on to environmental connect. What is an environmental connect? Environmental connect is like, so I went to, I took the CAT examination and I went for an IIM because my brother, he passed out of IIM-K and he got a very good package, so that inspired me a lot. So there was, environmental connect with MBA. Maybe some of you guys, your parents are business people, so that's the reason that motivates you to go for business management. Or some of you people are having entrepreneurial bent of mind, like organizing fairs and doing something on your own in college as well, trying to. I recall during my summer internship with the Fleet Management Limited. Company of Nobel Group, which was based out of Hong Kong. So during my internship, I was so keen to pursue entrepreneurship that I opened a firm along with a general manager of the company in which I was working, and his friend who was based out of New York, and one more friend of his who was based out of Moscow, and they were running a consulting called Agency Consulting, Russian-based consulting, and I started my own consulting firm called Words Consulting. So I used to used to be busy in the internship also. So I used to go from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I used to focus on the internship at the company Nobel Group, and then from 7 o'clock till 3 o'clock, I used to pursue this entrepreneurial thing of mine, Words Consulting. So I recall it very strongly that some things like environmental connect is very, very important. How your environment, the environment here is not only outside, it is within you also. Like I said, that I had an entrepreneurial streak in me. So these guys will not be interested for fat pay packages. So it didn't attract. It never had any attraction for me that okay, go for a big package like job and all. I said I want to do something on my own. And a lot of you guys will be having this, especially I know so many students from IT Kanpur that they want to do something of their own, maybe 3 to 4 years, 4 to 5 years. So the environmental connect is very important. So far we have talked about 3 documents. First is an academic connect document where you need to research on the course curriculum of any IIM, A, B or C and try to find some connect. If not some connect, then some indirect connect, but it's not compulsory to have a connect. Some of you may not be able to make out any connect, but that doesn't matter because finally the industry, and we'll talk about why you want to pursue MBA. You have done electrical engineering. I have the answers. But what I'm saying is not compulsory to have direct academic connect. Second was the skill set connect. See, everyone has some qualities here. It's not compulsory to be excellent in academics or excellent in sports or excellent in debate or excellent in drama or excellent at people, you're a people's person, so clubs and committees and CR and prefect and head boys and head girls and all. Everyone will have something. If not something, then maybe doing something, pursuing a hobby or something that you do in your free time. Like everyone has some skills, some qualities. Try looking at the positive side. I know that most of us we judge ourselves very, very harshly, but in interview the problem is you are selling yourself only. So it's very, very important that you have you take yourself in a positive light and keep negativity at bay. Why? Because this is an exercise where you'll be either facing the camera or you'll be facing the interviewer panel, which will be a desk, long desk, and behind the desk there'll be professors and some alumnus as well at some places. So it is very, very important that you keep negativity outside. Why? Otherwise you'll be stunned. Like how there are stun guns used, abroad, like you would have seen in the movie No Country for Old Men, he uses stun guns is used to actually stun the cows. You'll be stunned if you are negative or if you're scared. So negativity and fear, let's keep it out. Because in this exercise, it's like more important. Like in CAT, it was not that important, but you have realized to the extent it was so important. But in GWPI, especially in interview or group discussion or anything like that, in WAT also, like you're there, or the exercise is going on, so you are in the radar of the professor. So you need to be very positive and calm and happy and bright because they will be able to see through. It's easy, no? You can see through these things. Then some of the people have talked. One guy, Naman Bhatia, he very curtly mentioned, there. Uh, Try to recollect. He said personality test, knowledge test. So the personality test, what kind of person you are you a cheerful person? Because you are going for management, managing resources, managing people. So you need to have a good personality. How will you manage otherwise? If you're someone who is a brooder or someone who is not willing to talk, some like communicate, someone who wants to hide in his room only, someone who has a very negative opinion about himself or herself, how the hell will you manage and run and lead? It's not possible, right? Like even you would not hire such managers to run the organization. It's very, very important that you have to do a lot of working on your personality part. Think that is not a permanent thing. Just do it for 2 months and get done with it. That is easier. Sometimes we think throughout our life, sir is expecting us to be a positive person. Now that's too much to ask. Like even if our like boyfriend, girlfriend asks, we will, break off. But this is just a small time exercise. Let's be happy, cheerful, positive, and fear free. Fear free for some time. Okay, so 3 documents you've talked about: skill set document, academic connect document, environmental connect document. One more document I want you guys to make is very, very important. It's called the USP document, unique selling points. So you ask me why is this document the most important document? USPs, your unique selling points. So going for an interview. So whether it be tell me something about yourself or what are your strengths and weaknesses, to an extent what are your hobbies and interests, or 5 years, 10 years down the line, where do you see yourself, or why you want to pursue an MBA program, and why should we select you, why should we reject you? Many personal questions. In the presentation, at the core, you can say at the core as well as the crux of the answer are these USPs of yours. So if I can discuss students' answers, but of course they don't want to be humiliated publicly. So if someone asks me what are your USPs, some USPs can be okay. Some people say that I'm good at oratorship. Okay, I like challenges. So I will generally take up a challenge where I will mostly find people who will be thought of better than me, but then I will be very aggressive and I will kill them all and stand victorious over there. So I like challenges and I'm very aggressive when it comes to work or anything. So USP is like in a positive way, aggressive, not like actually killing people and all. Like you will have aggression in whatever you do, positive aggression. There'll be force. Of course, with aggression comes hard work. So I'll be hard working. Everyone knows themselves. Then of course in USP my awards will come. Like how some of you guys know that I got the Economic Times iconic brand of India award, and once I was awarded by the Industry and Commerce Minister National Excellence in Professional Education. So I mentioned the big awards and all. I have trained so many students, so it's a very objective way of training where results also come at the same time our students are trained. So I will be mentioning the successes of the 100 percentilers, 99.9 percentilers, or even those students who are coming from villages or are coming from Hindi medium background, but they make it to the top 6 IIMs. So objective things, subjective things, objective things, subjective things. I'll be mixing it when I'll be making my USP document. Everyone's USP document will be very, very. Then on the subjective front, I'll say that I believe in being a go-getter. If I want to go after something, I won't see that how big it is or how difficult it is. Is it impossible? Maybe people will laugh at me that what are you saying? It's hilarious. Yeah, you can think of something like this. But I really don't think. If I think I want to go for something, then yeah, it is achievable. Then only you can achieve it. So these are subjective things. There will be some objective things. And objective things I will talk about ramping up, like ramping up in business life. How from one office to 2 offices to 3 offices to multiple offices to multiple people to growing up a business. And when you grow a business, and whether it be on the marketing side, sales side, operations side, costing side, fund side, there will be a lot of disruption everywhere. So we all will be knowing what we are good at, what we are bad at. This USP thing is to write all the good things about you, both objective as well as subjective. You have your scholastic academic achievements, you have your co-curricular achievements, you have your extracurricular achievements. Co-curricular achievement and extracurricular achievements are two different things. Co-curricular is happening along the school and college, and the school and college is playing a role in it. For example, a taekwondo competition organized by the school. you win in it. It's a co-curricular, extracurricular. Outside the school, you train on your own, you go for competitions and all, national, state, or even district, or any. And sometimes you have to understand that achievement in terms of ranking, rating is not important. It shows that, okay, you know something. For example, I'll give you an example. IIM Bangalore versus IIM Kozhikode Sports Fest is known as Sangram. It's a very dirty environment. People will be using a lot of abusive language and hurling, and it's very aggressive sports competition. Every year it happens. Now, so suppose you're writing that you play cricket at school level or college level or whatever. Need not be a Ranji player. Even if they're seeing how you play cricket at school level or college level, you can play. You can represent them because the match will happen like every year. So from practical point of view, also when you are making this USP document, don't go too crazy that I only write things which are, first rank or AIR1 or something like that. Because we have write it. I'm saying even if you don't have it, you have to showcase what are the skills, qualities that you are having. Plus, in this document, apart from these three, academic, co-curricular, extracurricular, all other sorts of things that you want to mention because this is not the final document. So when you make a lot of points and you're discussing with me and other mentors, and they'll be telling you, okay, these points they need to be placed here, these points need to be placed down, these points, okay, they're not required. Let us decide. You don't judge yourself and write everything. For example, I'll give you something so backdated. Some students ask that school ka kya likhe ho to bahut purana ho gaya hai. Okay, I am not much into participating in contests and all where you have to go to the stage. Like during my school years also, like only and only if I was forced by the teacher or the house teacher, captain, or some senior, or like you have to represent, then I'll go. So in fifth standard, it happened that there was a debate competition, Inter-Delhi Public School debate competition, and I don't know why one of my seniors they pushed me. And on the same day, like in the afternoon, you have the debate competition. He started training me at say 10:30 during school hours only. And I went there and I was able to do my bit and I got a prize and I got second position. And I remember that everyone was like, angry in the school that why I didn't get the first position. I had never participated or I had never been to stage or done anything like that, till then. So that same year or next year, they pushed me again to go to Delhi and win and all, which I did. I got first prize, but then after that, I stopped competing because I was not interested in genuinely. Only if someone will harass me or push me or like teachers and all that have blackmailed me, then I would have participated. But it made me realize that okay, I can one of the skills that I can mention is public speaking skills, even though I don't practice it a lot. So there'll be some skills which you're not interested in, but they may be in you. And there'll be some skills which you're genuinely interested in, but you don't have prizes in it. You have to mention both of them. Both of them are important. So here we are with 4 documents. The first document is the academic connect document. Second document is the skill set connect document. Third document is the environmental connect document. And the fourth and the most important document is unique selling points document. Are you guys able to understand whatever I am sharing? Because this is the beginning of the interview preparation, PI preparation. Why? Questions from which genre has the highest chance of coming or popping up during the interview? Can anyone answer to this question? From which area you expect that okay, one or two interview questions will come from that area? From which area? WorkX, academic. Okay, so the answer was the genre is personal questions. Tell me something about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? What are your hobbies and interests? Why you want to pursue an MBA program? Why should we select you? Which is your favorite subject and why? Which is your least favorite subject and why? All these type of questions are known as personal questions. And the person, 95% chance at least is there, I would say, that you'll be asked personal questions. 1 or 2% questions will be asked. So when a personal question is asked, that's the opportunity. It's like a struggling actor from India goes to Los Angeles and he's struggling there. There is no role, and suddenly he gets to be the star, the main protagonist in a Martin Scorsese film. It's like that opportunity in an interview. If you're asked a personal question, but the good part is that 95% chances are there you'll be asked personal questions. So whenever you get that opportunity, cash on it, leverage upon it, tell them your USPs. Like, even if someone asks to tell me something about yourself, you can't be, hi, my name is Raju Rastogi, and I'm from Delhi. My father works in railways, and I studied in senior Cambridge school, and I went to Delhi University. Okay. There's a pass. Pass means, of course, nobody will be allowed to complete an answer. Nobody will be allowed to complete an answer. Why? Because like personal questions, you can go on like talking. So maybe after some time they'll just cut you there. So two things are very important because of this reason. A, when they ask you to tell me something about yourself, be very quick or present the basic, chronological facts or the basic historical facts about you in the least amount of time, and move to the areas which you want to talk about, because they know you are there to get selected. So you are there for your candidature. You are there to back your candidature. So it's very, very important that you talk the things which can get you selected. That time is equal to money. So in an interview, every minute is important, every second is important. Why? It can fetch you marks. Why say something which won't fetch you marks? Say concrete things. So if they ask you to tell me something about yourself, first you'll talk about your hobbies, your strengths, your USPs, and how they all have motivated you to go for MBA as a program. Very, very important that before you make any answer to a personal question, these four documents, the USP document, academic connect document, skill set connect document, and environmental connect document is made. After these four documents have been made, have been made, you guys need to write your SOP. That is statement of purpose. What is SOP? SOP is statement of purpose of what? What is like purpose? Like your purpose is to apply. So why are you applying to our MBA program, and why should we select you? So combination of two questions. Why are you applying for this MBA program, and why should we select you? So then in why are you applying for the MBA program, the academic connect part, the skill set connect part, the environmental connect part will come. And why should we select you? The USP part, the USP document, things from the USP document part, and also to an extent, environmental connect part will come into play. So SOP can be written only when you are sorted out. You treat these, like how when you're preparing for CAT, one very important thing you have to understand is CAT is not one paper, but it is three papers, three sections. Similarly, when we are discussing here, about the various parts of the interview or a question, so everything has to be treated in a different way. And that's the reason if in the beginning only you're making separate documents for academic connect, environmental connect, skill set connect, and USP document, your SOP will be very crisp. It will be very to the point. It will hit the nail at the right place. And yeah, boom, you'll be selected. Because the most important thing in an interview are these personal questions and answers. Most important thing. So maybe they ask you knowledge-based 2-3 questions, you are wrong. They ask you a personal question and you have been able to just do the right job. You're selected. You have got high marks. It's not a quiz competition. Like, do you think that you're going there for a quiz competition? It's not. So stop reading Manorama yearbook and India yearbook and blah blah blah. First, let's make the SOP, and from the SOP will spring, and from those 4 documents will spring the answers to other questions. The answer to other questions like tell me something about yourself, hobbies, interests, and strengths and weaknesses, blah blah blah. Which is your most favorite subject? This is again a personal question, and the answer cannot be stupid. That sir, my favorite subject is something which is totally disconnected with both management as well as what we want to do in life. What I want to do in life cannot be that drastic. Plus, it cannot be like, which is your least favorite subject? Sir, my least favorite, like I hate maths. Going there I'm going to study maths. And some of the professors, maybe out of the 2 or 3 professors who are there, 1 or 2 will be from maths background and they'll be teaching, operations management or something like that. They'll be like, oh my God, this guy is simply not the right person for my institute. Like everything related to the SOP and the SOP to these 4 documents. And the first thing you guys need to do is get going on them. And I'm there, and of course, there'll be other mentors as well. You can connect WhatsApp, like Dhruv Bansal has WhatsApp his USP document, and Shashwat Awasthi has sent his document as well. So I'll check it and I'll respond to you guys. All the students who are attending the session today, they had very high scores, 139, 136, 130. So your students who are in 130s and 120s, 110s, 100s, 90s, all types of students are there. What is more important is that you have to understand that the CAT part is over. So let's try to, put as much gas in this air balloon of PI and WAT or PI and GD or PI and group task. Like in RC Monji, you have case study, PI and case study. We discuss all of them. Try to work very hard for this process. You can really score a lot and you can make up for slightly less score in your examination, the qualifying examination. So this was about personal question. Plus, I will be. I hope all of you are on Telegram groups, and if you are not, then like, how will I be able to send material to you? So today or tomorrow, like, leave me today because I have to make the schedule for the CAT 22 students in the second half. By tomorrow, first half, I will be sending you some things. So one of the things is what are the kind of personal questions which are asked in the interview. So that you have a pointer, but you don't need the pointer. Right now, I told you make the 4 documents. I am there, Rajta ma'am is there, like some other people who will be getting involved very soon will be circulating the names and numbers so you can get your answer checked. Nothing succeeds like excess. This is a line by Lady Grantham. And what it means is that, okay, if you over prepare, chances of failure, of course, is going very, very low. So that's the reason what I'll be doing is that first we will be working on the personal answers, questions, and SOPs, and we'll try to finish it in 1 week. Okay. Don't carry it around like a disease. Like just finish this part. Why? Even though personal interview questions, like what we discussed, this has the highest probability of coming in your interview, as well as this can get you just selected, despite you not being able to answer to some questions, which are knowledge-based questions. So it's an attitudinal test, as I told you. That's the reason personal questions are so important. And when we talk about academics, see how the CAT can be related to, like academics to personality. The most important thing is, of course, personal interview questions and answers. The second most important thing is what you have studied. It's very, very important. Student of BCom going and being asked that, okay, what is the difference between P&L and P&L appropriation account? Or asked about whether suspense account can actually be shown when you, disclose your balance sheet, or what is the law of diminishing marginal utilities? Basic question. So, like, you need to start studying. And the good news is, again, by tomorrow first half, I will have sent you what are the expected questions or what are questions have been coming from your academic stream. So, mechanical list of questions asked to students in interviews of IIMs and all about mechanical engineering and all. So by tomorrow first half, it's for all, for BCom, for BA, for BBA, for electrical, for BA, for all, basically. So you'll be sent these questions. This will be a good reference. Start studying. Okay, maybe you're expecting that I'll be teaching you economics and history and mechanical engineering and all, but don't do that. Start studying. If you want, then okay, you can have some classes, but start studying on your own. So most important thing is the most important thing is the personal interview, because it's having 50%, almost 50% weightage in final shortlist selection. In that, most important is personal interview questions. So we'll finish them within the next 7 days. Academic preparation, don't overdo, like don't choke on it. Don't want to binge eating kind of a thing. Study every day because it's a continuous exercise. Study every day. First pointer I'll be dropping tomorrow, by tomorrow first half, the compilation of questions from your academic stream. Okay. Now, the role that academics play in a fresher's interview is the same role that WorkX will play in a working person's interview. For a fresher, most important personal questions, second, academics. For a WorkX student, most important personal question, second, WorkX, third, academics. Like, it's not that the WorkX guy can totally excuse himself or herself from academics, that, sir, I have worked for 2 years, don't ask me any academic questions, it has been too long. So that may not happen. But yes, you will not be judged very harshly. Let me put it that way. If you're working professional, so if you're not able to respond to some academic questions, you'll not be judged very harshly as a fresher will be judged. So for a WorkX person, WorkX is very important, and even when he or she will be preparing his or her answers, let's keep it. And it is also used nowadays, but it can be mistaken for something else, by the way. So even if we are writing answers to personal questions, and if you're a working professional, you should reflect on your answers. Whether it be your skill set document, or your environmental connect document, or your USP document, or to an extent, if for some of you the academic connect document, it has to reflect upon it. So this is the order. For a fresher, the order is first personal questions, second academics, third general awareness. Working professional, first personal questions, second WorkX, third academics, fourth general awareness. Okay, here when you say second WorkX, it means you should know your profile, you should know your company, the departments, and you should know what's happening in the industry. You should try to report, you should try to read some consulting report of that industry, both for India as well as for global. Like, for example, if you're working in IT industry, then there is the Gartner report. So, and what are the challenges? You have to read macro and micro. Micro means on the work front, challenges faced, successes, failures, learnings, observations which has further convinced you to go for the MBA program because you feel it will be a big value add once you start working post MBA. Micro, these are the micro things which I'm talking about. Macro things, industry report, company, blah, 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 what is the latest happening in the industry. It's very, very important. Very important. Especially if you are either studying or you have done some certification, or you're working in an industry which has to do with AI or augmented reality or Internet of Things. You need to read what is the latest happening, and you need to delve more. A lot of research will happen. So on one hand, personal interview questions, answers is easier because you have to finish them fast, it's time bound. But academics as well as research, whether it be on the general awareness front or the work front or what you want to do in future front, is very, very important. Very important. Okay, another important thing, you have to be Mahatma Gandhi. This is most important. What it means you have to be Mahatma Gandhi. First, I would like to have some quirky responses from the students. What do they understand when they say that you have to be a Mahatma Gandhi in the interview? Please type, what does this mean when I say that you have to be a Mahatma Gandhi?
No arguments.
Okay. Don't be that honest. That's my first. This is not like what I mean where you have to be Mahatma Gandhi. But some of the students are writing that truth and truthfulness and you have to be honest and all. If suppose your weakness, they ask you what are your weaknesses. Your weakness is that you are very lethargic and you don't make a plan. Generally, you're all over the map, blah, 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 many other things, which are quite contrary or opposite to what management skills or leadership skills or CEO skills should be. Of course, I don't expect you to be like 100% honest. Be like, you don't get selected. So I'm not asking you to lie blatantly, but I'm asking you that, okay, if something is a harsh fact, not a very pleasant fact, just keep it aside. You don't have to tell them. It's like if suppose I know something and I don't, tell Sumit about it, that doesn't mean I have lied to him because I have not disclosed it only to him. Lying and not disclosing are two different things. So truthfulness is, Sarthak is saying not aggressive, non-violent. What are you expecting? Some violence there in the interview room that if you don't like the interviewer, you want to beat him up, so you have to pursue non-violence. That does not come into play. That does not come into play at all. To be real, to be me, Shraddha. I don't know whether you're good or bad. So, like, if you're going to be really Shraddha there, I don't know how it will be. It can have both the impacts. Diplomatic, don't be too pro something. Yes, Akshat, that's a nice one. Act to be honest and calm. Yes, Adarsh. Secular, of course, Aviral. Calm, yes. Humble, yes. And okay, so what I mean to say about Mahatma Gandhi, so is that this section is there called decision making, and in NMAT you have the case study, and you never know, maybe they will ask you some questions in the interview even at IIMs which will test this. You are walking, you see a 500 rupee note, what will you do? A, you'll keep it in your pocket, nobody is around. You're walking on road, you see a note of 500 rupees. Either you'll keep it, you keep it in your pocket. Or you will see a poor person around and you'll give that 500. Or you will ignore it. Or you will pick that 500, go to the police station, even though you have other engagements, you will go sit there at the police station, invest maybe 1-2 hours. Even if they don't want to lodge a complaint, you will lodge like missing wala complaint there. You will invest your time and give the money to the police station. What will you do? First option, Swastik, he'll keep it in his pocket. Not selected. Poor, not selected. Not selected. This is not what Mahatma Gandhi will do. Ignore. You think Mahatma Gandhi will ignore? He will, of course, go to the police station. If the police person, if the inspector tells him, go get law, don't waste my time, he will go on a hunger strike there. He will protest. This is what is Mahatma Gandhi all about. So whenever they ask you about a case study, in a case study, or anything, please follow this henceforth. What you are Mahatma Gandhi. You will do the right thing. You will say the right thing. Whether they're asking about, extreme nationalism, or they're asking about a moral, any moral question, you have to be 100% right. 100% right. Like if I'm mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, I would say most of you wouldn't have seen Suraj Barjatiya films, like Hum Aapke Hai Kaun, and I also seem to be forgetting the name. Hum Saath Saath Hai, and some movies like this, So there used to be this character called Alok Nath in that. Alok Nath, moral fiber. Is like a moral fiber is thick and he will be completely moral. So sanskar, okay, I don't know now. Bapuji, sanskari. Yes, you need to be like 100% morally correct, but more important than morally correct also, so 3-4 pointers I'm dropping. This is also very helpful in decision making, case study, or any question which involves decision making, asked in an interview or even in WAT. First and the most important thing is you have to be Mahatma Gandhi. So Garib ko, you didn't give the 500 note to the poor. You didn't keep it for yourself as well, because that will be the last thing you will tell people. This is an interview, no? It's like you're going public. You're going public. So you can't, not like you're telling your friend that, hey, I would have kept it, okay, I would have kept it, I've called you, we are friends, we'll go and would have had chai, samosa and all, it's $500. You had to go to the police station and file a missing note complaint. Now, similarly, first is that, second is moral fiber. If you have used moral fiber as the first thing, then you'll have given it to poor. First, Mahatma Gandhi. Second, moral fiber. Third, business interest. I'll be practical. Most important, Mahatma. Second, moral fiber, aka Alok Nath. Third, you think of the profit, you think of practicalities, realism goes into it. in any decision. This is the order, and it's very, very important. It's very, very important in any question or any decision making. We'll be having decision making classes from tomorrow. So I will try to take a class tomorrow in the evening. I would request that those students who are not preparing for ZAT examination, but they are preparing for GWPI, should definitely attend this session of decision making. The details will be sent very soon on all Telegram groups, either tomorrow. And I'm thinking of a late evening time, like GWPI. What is a good time? Like Borat, you could have seen Borat. He says, it's a good time. So what is a good time? Tell me. Evening hours, 6 to 8, 5 to 7, 5:30 to 7:30. Do you guys get free? Evening. So evening is a preferable time. Fine. So do attend his decision making class. Why? I'll be discussing cases where in these cases you have to use your brain, you have to use your heart, you have to use your morality and all. But at the same time, Mahatma Gandhi will win. If you use the Mahatma Gandhi, that I am Mahatma Gandhi formula will win. So it is very, very important that in any decision making, this thing is used. So this we are talking about interview. Now general awareness in the interview. Okay, general awareness. If my mobile, if someone can get my mobile, I have written a list of topics, to help you in understanding what exactly is the general awareness part and how general and how specific. Like you don't have to go crazy that someone is reading the newspaper, page 3, that Kanpur में murder हो गया है बहुत और ये सब हो गया, मतलब like you don't have to go that local in general awareness. We discussed to which limit you have to study for general awareness. And Happy, where is my mobile?
She said.
Okay, so we'll be discussing and general awareness is important for GD, for WAT, and in interview also you can be asked, some question which. Okay. The role of electric vehicles in achieving the net zero goal by 2070. So yeah, electric vehicles and pollution and environment. So this is a very good topic. You have to study it. It's not too specific. Why? Okay, if you study some big issues, if you research on some big issues and make pointers, you can use it even in topics which are not directly but indirectly connected. You'll be needing fodder, for your GD, for your WAT, for your interview questions related to general awareness. You need fodder. And the best way to score good in anything related to general awareness, in WAT, or group discussion, or interview is just mention the facts. You don't take sides or don't try to sermonize they're not interested in knowing that what is your ideology. They're not psychologists. They're interested in knowing that whether you are aware of what? The facts which are there. So when we talk about electric vehicles and the entire pollution and the climate change and people like Greta Thunberg, so one. Second, is it a good idea for consumers to invest in cryptocurrencies? Of course, you have to study on cryptocurrency. Very surprising, but our Prime Minister is also supporting cryptocurrency. He's saying that, okay, let's go crypto. So, of course, we're expecting that cryptocurrency in India will be suddenly shooting for sure. And not only that, about the start, about the beginning, about the regulations, about the challenges and all, we'll be having classes on these. But what I'm saying that, okay, when we talk about awareness, general awareness, what does it mean? The migratory crisis between Belarus and EU. Now, you can ignore it also, you can study it also, but you can ignore it also, but you can study it also. It's not that if you don't know something this specific, you'll be rejected because of this. But if you know, of course, you score points. But they'll give you more chances. They'll ask you more questions. But of course, the migratory crisis is being frequently discussed for the last few years in Europe. And if I'm not mistaken, all of you are familiar with the photograph of a child dead on the beaches, that news. So it is we don't know about it because it's not affecting us, but it is a very burning topic there. The world's refugee crisis. United Nations Conference on Climate Change, good. Pros and cons of community kitchens, in a specific topic. But if you research on it, you'll get some pointers which you can use and throw in other areas as well. India's coal deficit. Why these are important? Suppose you go for the WAT and this is the topic and you have not studied anything, that's it. And the interviewer will be coming to know that your paper is blank, or maybe you have written about Akbar, Birbal and all. So it's finished, no? GD topic is India's coal deficit. So you can use points which are indirect, okay, like India's coal deficit, you have not studied this topic, but coal, okay, let's talk about not using resources like coal, but let's talk about solar, wind, and electric, and blah, 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 blah. So you can relate, like sometimes it will happen that, okay, you don't know about the topic, but there are few things which has some relevance upon those topics. So do that. Solar energy's advantages and disadvantages. There's only one sun, one world, and one grid. Some of the topics which are expected to come. The metaverse, Gati Shakti National Master Plan, the Great Resignation, pros and cons of electronic voting, COD versus BRICS or COD versus anything else, AUKUS, what if Bitcoin's value plummets to zero? BRICS, COVID, of course, COVID, Sri Lanka's economic crisis. How may India's voting standards be improved? Caste census, benefits and drawbacks would be reading. You have to compulsorily read the newspaper now. So, like, I'm not into a lot of research, but at least I read the newspaper and I research whenever I feel like as a hobby. Caste census, benefits and drawbacks. So you will know a lot of talk is happening where a lot of political parties like BSP is also talking, and many of the parties that when the census was having, it should the caste, which caste you are, like caste based, it should be happening so that we come to know who and all. So you have to keep reading and all. Yes, the Syrian child, as Sayyid Muhammad is talking about. So general awareness. First, you have to read the papers every day. Second, you have to start making documents. During my time, the NDA government was there under Vajpayee, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, when I was preparing for my interviews and all. So Arun Shourie was the disinvestment. For the first time, there was a disinvestment minister at the center. It was disinvestment mentor. So I made a document about disinvestment and a document on FDI. A lot of things. You have to make documents. You have to start making documents. From where will the pointer comes? Again, by tomorrow first half. No, not tomorrow's first. Yeah, tomorrow's first. Sorry. I was thinking today, is it possible? No. So by tomorrow's first half, I will send you a list of topics of general awareness, regarding general awareness. You pick up those topics first, which are more general in nature, generic in nature. So Indian economy, something like GDP. So it is so broad, and there will be many other pointers which will be used in, as pointers in other topics which are there in the document that I'll be sending you. So pick up topics which are broad first. It helps a lot. How to make the document? Nothing. You Google and then you copy paste and just keep the bullet points. You don't write. You just bullet points. Right? So this is a document. You talk about Indian agriculture. I have a document, Indian agriculture. Go there. It's not like the document is endless also. Like, okay, you don't have to do a PhD. They're asking you about Indian agriculture. They're not expecting you to sound like someone who's so much into Indian agriculture that they will only say that, beta, you have come to the wrong place. You should go to the Indian agriculture front and do whatever you want to. Like, don't go crazy also. But yeah, points. My rule used to be 5 points. So you can diversify. What is going crazy? What is 5 points? I'll have 5 points. So GD 5 points. WAT, if you have 5 points, point me facts. Then you can, I used to take a topic, research, find good 5 points. Even though there are 6 points, 7 points, 8 points, but I used to choose the 5 best ones, most prominent ones, most relevant ones, most pertinent ones, and 5 points. Everything 5 points. Plus, There is a model that started using it few years ago. Then everyone started using this model. It's called the PESTLE model. PESTLE. If you're asked about something, whether it's a GD or a WAT, try using the PESTLE framework. P is political, E is economic, S is social, T is technological, L is legal, E is environmental. PESTLE approach. Topic is asked, so it may happen, of course, it will happen 99% of the times that you will not have points from political, also economic, also social, also technological, also legal, also environmental, also. But if you're able to cover even 2-3 areas, professor will be impressed with this guy. He is not having a parochial, narrow-minded thinking, or his perspective is so broad. Like he's talking, when we are asking him about a topic, he's trying to, analyze it, discuss it, from various perspectives, the environmental perspective, the legal perspective, political perspective. To discuss all this. Today is just an opener to make you understand what is this process and what all things are required if you want to excel in it. So we will be having classes and we'll be picking up topics and we'll be discussing those topics. But what I'm telling you, 5 points, helps a lot, 5 points. Where does India truly stand in the global hunger index? 5 points. What is your view on Bangladeshi refugees? 5 points. How does it help? It's the same thing. Like in RC, if someone is going on reading fictional novels, just one type of genre and all. So, like when he faces RC from other areas like sociology and literary criticism and all, so he'll be in for quite a tough ride. Similarly, when you are going to be making your general awareness dossier, which will be a collection of files and folders and many documents and those. Just keep it limited to 5 points. The 5-point rule. This is my rule, personal rule. 5 point. Keep it compact but effective. And those 5 points can be used, a lot. Yes, one boy has talked about the farmer bills, Varun Populi. So a lot of things are there. In fact, the last 2-3 years and especially the last few months, it has been very exciting when it comes to the news. The news is like your Saas Bahu serial, and a lot of issues have been made and all blah blah blah. So a lot of things are there which you can research on. Like more to do, a lot of information there. You can just find upon the information, but always know orders. Person interview questions first. It's not that you give them the right answers to the dispute between Karnataka and the Tamil Nadu government regarding river Kaveri dispute. You give them all the point, but they ask you why you want to do MBA, and you say, "Sir, I want to go for placements." And it happens. One of my friends, he did that despite a very high percentile. He was not selected in IIM Bangalore because that time he was not my friend. He was someone else's friend. He said that, "Sir, I want to do MBA because of good placements." Placement is a one-time activity. It happens like you can't say that, "I want to do MBA because I want to earn a few crores as soon as possible." I know a lot of you guys do want to do that. So my brother, his first package who passed out from Ahmedabad was more than 1 CR. It was 1 CR plus. So I was also, let's do MBA. Why? To get the crores. And it happened. It'll happen with you, sir. But you can't tell them you're in for the millions and the billions. Money part, your Mahatma Gandhi, will he show money? Even though his face is on the Indian money, Indian currency. But he is not at all, he was not at all known for being into money. You can't go with, nowadays how you can go with your suitcases to the politician, local politician, that keep the suitcase, get the job done. No story of people going with money and loads of cash to Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi, moral fiber, Alok Nath, will he take money? No, not at all. He'll give money. He's a provider, he's not a taker. So orders are very, very important. Mahatma Gandhi, moral fiber, that is Alok Nath, and third comes the practicalities, the business and all. Similarly, marks wise, interview the marking scheme. First, personal interview question. Second, academics. Third, business awareness, general awareness. Business awareness comes in that academic connect thing only. When you'll be making your academic connect document, they'll ask, okay, what all areas are there in management? You can't be just like, sir, I just know finance or marketing. To know the areas, marketing is there. You have consumer behavior, which is subjective subject. You have market research, which is an objective subject. Different brand management and product policy, and different types of channel management is there. So like you need to have some basic idea about what sports that you're getting into. So very important. Just imagine you're going there. The first question professor asks is that okay, which are the functions of management, or which are the topics, or which are the subjects that you're looking forward to, and you're totally blank. Shouldn't happen like that at all. Okay, so far I hope you guys are able to get some hang of how to, start making your POA, plan of action. We will be starting with the interviews very soon. So I'm giving you 7 days, 8 days to prepare your personal interview answers. And then depending on whether your score is so high that you will be getting your first interviews by Feb end, we'll be actually having the live interviews both online as well as offline, so that you are able to commit mistakes and learn from them. It's like, taking a test early only so that you understand. And personal interview questions, you have to be prepared. After that, whether it is general awareness or whether it is academics, it's a continuous process. The preparation is continuous. So you cannot have this that, okay, only if I am able to finish my mechanical engineering course preparation or BCom course preparation, as well as general awareness, I have taken 100 topics inside my brain, then only I'll give an interview. That'll be wrong. It'll be like taking a mock test just few days before CAT. You need practice. So, but then first chance will be given to those who have high scores. So I want Sumit sir to type his number. All those students who have got 90 and above score are supposed to DM Sumit sir, so that their interviews, so whether you have got 100 or you have got 140 or you have got 110 or you have got a 92, you're supposed to like DM Sumit sir your name and your score and slot. Higher the score, they'll be grabbed first by me for the actual ragada, that is the face-to-face interview. And the good part is that we have very esteemed panel for the first boot camp. What is a boot camp? Boot camp is basically 2.5 days continuous non-stop grill, where I call the top corporate honkos and professors of IIMs and other big institutes and academicians who have written books on finance and marketing that you read in your during your MBA. They will be coming here and they'll be taking your interview. So even if you're outside, that means you're not in Lucknow Kanpur region, you should come for the boot camp. There'll be online as well as offline boot camp, but you need the experience of at least one offline boot camp, so that if your interview is offline, actual interview, you're able to tackle it well. Whoever attends the boot camp, their interviews are pre-decided. It's not that you'll come on the spot and like the timetable is already made. Any good student who's expecting calls from the top IIMs will get a minimum of, I would say, 10 interviews, grilling interviews, which will test you on every parameter, from academics to general awareness to work experience to personality to personal questions and everything. So every student who is basically one boy hashtag, even if you are enrolled for IIM-K, then time and RX time. Yes, you can. The door is, some things I do for money, some things I do for the sheer joy of doing it. So irrespective of whether you're IIM-K or non-IIM-K, or you know me or you don't know me, those students who have a score of 90 and above are supposed to get in touch with Sumit sir. Sumit sir is there. Don't worry, students with lower CAT score also will be covered, but not in the first boot camp. There will be 6 to 7 boot camps. This I am doing because see, those students who are scoring high and getting like calls from the top-notch institutes, the interviews of the top-notch institutes happen way earlier than interviews of other institutes. So don't worry about it. Even if some people have scored very high in NMAT and they're sure shot expecting calls from NM Mumbai, Everyone will be trained. This is so that those who are going to, because some of the IIMs, they'll have the interviews by end of Feb. So they need to just start it. There is no time here. Okay. So any questions so far? I've been on it's a one-way communication mostly. Any questions anyone is having so far? Okay, so few things I'll quickly recap that we have discussed, which is very, very important from the interview point of preparation. I talked about the 4 documents that you guys need to make: the academic connect document, the skill set connect document, the environmental connect document, and the USP document. After that, these 4 documents will be your backbone, will be your godown of material, will be your stock. And from this stock, you will make your statement of purpose, which is basically responding to why are you applying for this MBA program and why should we select you. Then once your SOP is made and these 4 documents are also there, you'll be able to have answers to all those personal questions. I'll be telegramming you those personal questions by tomorrow. I have it now also, but I have to make the schedule for CAT 22, so I'll be occupied in it. Then we discussed about, whenever you have to present yourself, or if there's a case study, or if there's a question, like the order is very, very important. And I told you about the order where when I talked about Mahatma Gandhi, I told it means like go by the rule, go by the rule. Take it, give it to the cop, the $500. Then we talked about moral fiber and then about the business aspect. It shouldn't be that someone tells you that, okay, 1% कंपनी में चोरी करेंगे तो कंपनी को इससे 1000 गुना फायदा होगा. नहीं, allowed नहीं है, because you're Mahatma Gandhi. So we'll discuss tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We'll be having a class of decision making where I want, even if you're not preparing for that, you should definitely attend it. We'll be discussing cases and this will be tested basically, which will help you in your answering during PI as well as talking during GD or your WAT. Then we discussed about the order also, that pehle aapko, you have to be very well prepared on the personal interview questions front, and then the academic front, and then the general awareness front. In the work-X is second, third is academics, and fourth is general awareness. I'll be sending you both general awareness topics tomorrow, as well as I'll be sending you the questions from your academic domains that are generally asked. The PI preparation has to happen fast. The PI questions, like take 1 week, 10 days at max, and then be totally prepared. The general awareness and the academic preparation keeps going. It's continuous, like till the day of your interview. You have to read the newspapers, it's very, very important. So even if you read the newspapers continuously for the next 2 months, believe me, even if you don't have 5 points, you'll have 2 points. Sometimes 2 points is also good enough, if you're able to present it well in GD and WAT. Now, in WAT, like let's discuss about WAT. In WAT, again, what are they looking for? Like interview is an attitudinal test. Now, what are they looking for in WAT? WAT is an exercise where they test your analytical abilities. That is the answer from the captain leader. WAT, they are testing your analytical ability. What do you mean by analytical ability? This very problem is given to you, how you understand it as a whole, also understand it in parts, break up into parts neatly. These things are, part of analytical ability. So topic is given, WAT, from the beginning to the points, to the conclusion, everything broken down, analyzed, using a framework. One good framework is either a 5-pointer or a PESTLE approach: political, economic, social, technological, legal, environmental. So now I'll be taking a WAT class and GD class, some sample GD topics you'll be taking, and then I'll be first telling you how to go about it. And when I'll be checking your answers, of course, I'll be telling you again, how to go about it. I'll be making some model answers of some students, and in one of the classes presented that, this is the way to present. Don't worry, nobody can cheat anyone's answer, copy anyone's answer. You know why? In interview, it's very important to show your individuality. Like if you show that you're one, like you're run of the mill and you're one of the crowd, you won't be selected. Because some institutes will send interview calls in the ratio 1:10, 1:12, 1:15, like every In every 15 students, only one student will be selected finally. And those students who would have performed better, they would have got the interview call. So that means the competition is better in quality, way more superior in quality. Plus again that every 10, every 20, 15 student, one student will only make through. You have to be very, very sure that you don't come across as general. I'm not talking about the category. You don't come across as general. You have to come across as an individual. You can come across as an individual only if you talk about your individual self, your individual traits, yourself, not some other self. Just to write the right answer. Don't do that stupidity at all. Okay, so WAT we'll be doing, but again, WAT, analytical ability, plus you have to know about the topic. If you don't know about the topic, what the hell will you like, right? Plus, you have to write it in the framework. You shouldn't just pick up the pen and, yeah, let's start writing. Make a framework in your head. So PESEL may some particle and some social points are there. So one paragraph particle point, one paragraph social point, some beginning or 2-3 lines with some fact or some opening, and then some closing. It has to be in order. It's very, very important to find order in chaos. And there'll be chaos because it will be a timed thing. So there'll be chaos in your head that the clock is ticking. So there'll be pressure on you to just start writing. Think, make a framework, and then write. So I like when I'm taking WT class and I'll be reading, some answers will be having facts and the presentation will not be good. Some will be having presentation, the facts will not be good. Needs both. Both. That's what analytical ability is all about. GD. What is GD about? Group discussion. As per the CAT convener, group discussion is all about leadership skills. This is shocking. Interview is all about attitude. It's an attitudinal test. WAT is a test of analytical ability. Group discussion is a test of leadership. So it cannot be just me, like me, myself, and Irene types. Or it cannot be just shut up, like I won't speak, I would hardly be there. Leadership skills, you have to be noticed, you have to contribute your best. At the same time, you have to ensure that the group is moving. Plus, you have to see that if someone is having some important point, can it be discussed more? Something like that. To take someone as a group, if the GDS is coming almost to an end, and one person is wanting to speak but has not got the opportunity, motivating them also to speak. Leadership skills, very, very important. Very, very important when it comes to GD. You have to be seen, you have to be heard, but you have to ensure that others are also seen as well as heard. Plus, as a group, if a topic is given, were you able to discuss it and come to some conclusion if it is a topic which requires some conclusion? Or have you been able to discuss both the pros and cons? Or has the GD been very repetitive? In WAT also, you cannot repeat the same thing. No? You have made a point. Okay, move. What's the other point? You need to make points. With every point, you get points. That's the reason 5 points. Have 5 points on everything because you can't make more than 5 points in both WAT as well as GD. You won't have that much time also. In 5 points, you would have told them that you have diversity. It's like the Raymond, the complete man. So GD and WAT and interview are separate exercises and requires specific skills, different skills. But all of them requires your creativity and on-the-field thinking ability. In one of the GDs, I was asked, the topic given was samosa. When I was preparing, like you guys, as a student, and the person who was there, the person from the interview panel, a fat gentleman, middle-aged from Tata, I don't know, TAS and Tata Initiative Services, and very experienced. He gave the topic samosa. I said, East or West, India is the best. The usual cliche, East or West, India is the best. And so are Indian snacks. And samosa is truly the mascot of Indian snacks. The person was very amazed that I'm using words like mascot and all. Then others spoke. Then some gentleman talked about, that how, India is anyways known as the cardiac disease capital of the world. And samosa is having cholesterol, bad cholesterol and all. And so we talked about, how samosas like burgers can be packaged and sold internationally and there can be chain and all different types of samosas and all. And then I also made a cheesy line about how today also if it is raining and all and you want to go out with your friends, that rather than going to a coffee shop, you'll have chai with samosa, at some small place, with your friends and all. So like we discussed, there was a good discussion. Sometimes the topic can be even as offbeat as samosa. You need to think. It's very, very important. Don't surrender. Don't surrender. Any questions? Any Sarthak Agarwal, what are the other approaches leaving PESEL? So one is a PESEL approach, one is a 5 point. You need to know 5 facts about the topic, then you can distribute your like paragraphs or your the times. It's not like in GD also all the 5 points need to be presented at one go. It will be difficult for the group to understand as well. So the 5 point thing helps. But the pros cons also helps a lot. What is the pros cons framework? That the topic is there and you're talking about the pros as well as some cons. You show that you're a balanced person. So like you can take both the sides and only you can be a good decision maker even in an organization. So these are some of the approaches that you can use. Any other doubt? Don't want the first session to be a very heavy, lengthy one. If I get low percentile, should I drop, go for internship, job? सर मेरा ये पहला एमबीए का इंटरव्यू है कुछ गाइड करिए बताओ यार मोहित आई हैव बीन गाइडिंग फॉर द पास्ट 1.5 hours यू आर टाइपिंग राइट नाउ एट द एंड दैट प्लीज गाइड करिए आई एम गाइडिंग बट लाइक इट्स लाइक 18th को इंटरव्यू है so you call me Mohit. I think you can call and take help from me. Don't feel shy. I'm there to help you guys only. And if someone has got a low percentile, or if someone even thinks that it's not a low percentile, but I can do much better, then please drop and please retake the CAT attempt. Why? It's not like a graduation program. MBA institutes is the placement, the prestige. Okay, let's talk about only the two P's. Let's not go into subjectives. Let's only be objective. We'll talk about prestige and placement. Like zameen aasman ka fark ho jata hai. In one category you have the ABC, and then in second category you have Lucknow, Kozhikode, Indore, FMS and XLRI. In third category you have IT Bombay, IT Delhi, and NITI Mumbai, and SP Jain, and IFT, and MDI, and these kind of institutes are there. And there is a fourth category, there is a fifth category. There are like 10, 50 that endless categories. Just saying beyond a point, the placement is so lost, the prestige is also lost. So why are you going to be doing the MBA program? Age does not matter. Is there an age to be a billionaire? Tell me if you want to be a billionaire. It's an age, I'll be a billionaire by this age. You don't know whether you will become or not. Even if you become, you cannot dictate the age or the timing or the timeline. It's like childish. So similarly, MBA, you have all. I recall I went with for my summer internship to Nobel Group, and along with me was this boy called Rohit Hoshi, and he had 9 years of experience. So like he was having, there was good age difference between me and him. So what? It doesn't matter at all. And bad institute will also charge a lot because every institute is charging a lot nowadays. Suddenly, when my brother was doing MBA from Ahmedabad, it was 60,000-70,000. When I went to IIM Kozhikode for my MBA, it was around 2,75,000. Now it is 15 lakh, 20 lakh, 23 lakh and all. So whether you go to a good one or a bad one, you will invest. And if you go to a bad one, you won't get the ROI. So what's the point? Money lost, prestige lost, placement lost, time lost also. Like, 2 years is a very long term. Don't compromise at all. MBA is not for a compromise. Go to a good institute where you have where the name is prestigious. So you'll be writing it. For the rest, you Google all the top CEOs nowadays, like Indian CEOs, people of Indian origin CEOs and all. Most of them have the backing of good institutes as well. Like if you have a big company, wouldn't you want your CEO to also come from a prestigious name? Gap year, how to tackle gap year in the interview? If the gap is not very long, then it's not a headache. Only and only if the gap is very long, it's a headache. So discuss with me at an individual level because everyone's story will be different. Some stories can be presented, some will have to show something else. Everyone, so there are no general answers. Everyone, depending on your strengths, weaknesses, your story, your answers will be. Someone wants me to give hint about the EWS cutoffs, as if I'm from Men in Black and I'm having, alien machine inside me, and I can come up with the figures for the EWS cutoffs. I don't know the EWS cutoffs. Of course, it'll be lower than the general category cutoffs, and I think the difference can be of 7 to 8 percentile from the general category cutoff at least. So this is something which I can tell you, but exact I can't. Which colleges to apply for this do not take sectional cutoff. Anyways, only those institutes which have which take students below 95, 96 percentile, they don't have sectional cutoff. Only institutes which take students if they're above 96, 97 percentile, they have sectional cutoff. Rest the 96 percentile below institutes don't have this concept only of sectional cutoff. सैयद मोहम्मद is asking, sir, XLI में भी ऐसा ही होगा, मतलब क्या होगा? I don't understand. Right? Question is not clear. Sir, I'm preparing about TIS for TIS. Chandan, this is about GWPI. You contact me personally for TIS. I'll help you. Don't worry. Part-time student social sciences. They have this course MA in HR, and you get good salaries there. Don't ask me at what score, what percentile. Ask this to me personally. 77 EWS category and all. This is the GWPI session. Varun, if I get a call from SIBM, SMHRD, is it worthy not to retake CAT 4? I mean, it depends upon you, Varun. So for me, it was not. I had to go to one of the top 6 IIMs. So, like for some students, will be very happy if they go to SIBM Pune. Some will not be happy. Like everyone is different. You have to know yourself. All I'm saying is at least have some prestigious name. Like don't be a fool that you lose money, you lose prestige. Money both ways, placement wise also. And I know so many students who went to these institutes which are not that good. How do you, what is the definition of a good institute? Only students with good percentiles, if they are admitted, it's a good institute. Otherwise, there are many institutes where students with low percentile also join and they invest a lot of money, crores and crores on fancy marketing advertisements and all, and the buildings are also good. Finally, I come to know that the student didn't get placed also, and some of them got placed for 15-20K. So, like, what, like, shouldn't do that at all. Why Swastik you'll talk against the political party? Just stick to the facts. That's what I told you about. In your WAT, in your GD, just stick with the facts. They are looking at a Wikipedia. You have to become that Wikipedia. Yes, Akshat. For that, you need to contact me and call me, Akshat Rathore. As far as I remember, I sent you the link or something and I asked you to call me back, but you didn't call me, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be helping all of you, don't worry. We have time, it's not that it's tomorrow, but I'll be helping you. Get going with it. Soumya Tiwari has been shortlisted for Great Lakes. Yo, very good. But no, I wouldn't suggest that you should go like down south to, if I'm not mistaken, it is in Chennai. And they have a satellite campus in Gurugram. But if I'm not suggesting like going to Chennai, then why will you take their outstation center at Gurugram also? Not worth it. Okay, so Great Lakes. 3 parameters. Whenever you select an MBA institute, 3 parameters. A, is it prestigious? How to find out? Go ask your uncle. Uncle, have you heard of Great Lakes? Mummy, have you heard of Great Lakes? They will think Great Lake maybe is a lake. Or, if I'm not mistaken, it is also sounding like cornflakes brand. Great Lakes. Like Great Flakes, it's a poor joke. But the fact is that it is not known. Like, so will people in your house know Great Lakes? Will you go, you tell your wife that do you know Great Lakes? She'll say, I don't know Great Lakes. So prestige is not there. Second, placement. In these institutes, only if you're lucky to be in the top 30% of the placements, like percentile wise, like you're in the top 30%, then only. What percentile wise? Placement figure percentile wise. Like their average, like if you're average in these institutes, then it's not good at all. Only if you're above average in placement. Now, how to determine whether you're average or above average in placements? There is no way to determine one. Placement is an interview, so it's again a performance in the interview. So prestige is not there. Placement is only it's a risk. There is a risk attached to it. And then money. I think Great Lakes is expensive, if I'm not mistaken. And I've sent all of you the document. I'll again send it tomorrow on Telegram groups where you have the placements and the cutoffs and everything of CAT institutes. Let's look at Great Lakes very quickly, just to like, this is the example. We're using Great Lakes as an example. Yeah, I've opened the document. 10 lakh, around 10 lakh is the average salary, and 16.25 lakh is the fee. So there's a possibility you might end up getting 6-7 lakh package also. Why would you like to? You spend 20 lakh plus and get such a package. FMS, BHU, ABM, Mohit, are you having any agricultural background in studies or in profession? Are you from Shuats? S. Mohit Kumar, are you from Shuats? I think he's from Shuats. See, you personally ask me. These are personal questions. Let's not waste time of others. You will like Telegram me or WhatsApp me your questions. Today I won't be able to respond, but because I have to make a schedule, but from tomorrow again I'll be hands-on job helping all of you. So guys, that was sweet. I think all of you were patient. I think as a first, it's not that it's the first and final session. Today was just the introductory session to at least आपका रूबरू कराया जाए GWPI से क्या होता है GWPI. एंड शेड्यूल में आने वाले हफ्ते जीके के भी जनरल अवेयरनेस के भी सेशंस होंगे, डिसीजन मेकिंग के भी सेशंस होंगे, GWPI के भी सेशंस होंगे. So don't worry. We are going to be connected throughout these for the next 2.5 months and ensure that everyone converts. You know, we have a record this year. All the students with their IIM calls, they were able to convert the calls. मतलब like मुझे शायद ही पता, I don't know any student who I trained and my team trained and he or she was not able to convert the call. So all the best. If only if you will not be like, you have to prepare, right? You have to prepare with us. So all the best, guys. Thank you. That's the end of today's session, and there'll be many more sessions to come. I hope you gained something beneficial out of it. Thank you.